This is Mondo Homuncularo. It's August 3rd. Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. We've had a lot of things go on here in the last few days. Pretty crazy stuff, huh? Yeah, okay, so Biden's gone, Kamala's in, the polls are starting to reverse. Trump is just completely freaked out because he's an idiot to begin with. He doesn't have, he just promises all kinds of stuff. Now he promised something that a lot of seniors would go for, which is he wants to end the tax on Social Security. Well, I'm all for that, but how's he going to do that? Well, that could be done by executive order. Yeah, just like when Reagan instituted the tax on Social Security. But Kamala needs to pick up on this, and she needs to appropriate this to her particular agenda and her platform. Democrats have a much stronger platform than the Republicans. The Republicans don't have a strong platform. Their platform is Project 2025. That's what it is, or a watered down version of it. Now, I don't like it. You don't like it. It doesn't work. Now, and here's Trump. Trump is saying, well, I never read it, but then he starts saying things about it, like he has read it or somebody has read it to him. Now, this is a guy who doesn't read hardly anything. He doesn't. And same with a lot of his followers. I recently used AI and put up a fictional story with kind of a facsimile of Trump. And I had more trolls, more MAGA trolls come out of the woodwork and comment on this when it really wasn't even about that. They're, oh, vote Trump and all this other crap. Every one of them, the best they could post to try to debate was a bunch of things, a bunch of ideas, a bunch of things that Trump supposedly did, which have all been debunked. One, inflation didn't increase under Trump. It did towards the end. What happened was, with all this economic stuff, Trump inherited the good part of the economy that he's claiming from Obama. Then the pandemic came. Well, that killed a lot of things. Number one, the price of gas went way down because people weren't driving. And presidents don't really have much ability to change the price of gas, so he didn't have shit to do with that. The pandemic really did that. Most everything else was created by the pandemic. In fact, the unemployment rate went through the roof because people got laid off, people were on furlough, just a lot of people weren't working. That's what happened. He didn't really improve the economy. He doesn't know how. He can't even improve his own economy other than grifting and coming out with sneakers for various stupid topics. So what he appeals to is the ignorance of the American people, people that won't fact check, people that won't look up what he's claiming. Okay, like this crap that he's doing with Kamala. I was saying, well, Kamala was always Indian. I always knew her. No, you didn't. She's been named as her origins ethnically are African American, aka Jamaican, Afro American, and South Indian. That's been day one. She has claimed those ethnicities. So Trump, I don't want to hear. He always puts out shit that comes from his poor memory of things. He doesn't have a good memory of things, or at least he doesn't remember what he knows to be true. He always comes up with total lies. He's a liar. He lies constantly. I mean, then he came up with the hostage situation, making a criticism. Well, I never gave away anything to get hostages back. Well, in most cases, he did. And we released hostages. It was a mutual exchange. It was great work by Biden's diplomatic team. It really was good work. But the Trump's trying to, he wants to negate everything that's an accomplishment. Like he says that day one, he's going to get Putin and Zelensky to agree to a ceasefire. Well, how's he going to do that? He's going to have to get Zelensky to agree to ceding territory, which he isn't going to do. And he's going to have to get Putin He's tell Putin, here, take this territory. Well, one, Zelensky's not going to cede the territory. Two, Putin's not going to ceasefire without the territory being ceded. So there you go. He's not going to do anything. Can't do anything. The thing of it is I don't know if anybody remembers this, but a while back, um, Putin favored Biden in the election and not Trump. And all these dictators, I mean, they kind of laugh at Trump because Trump is just a wannabe asshole. That's all he is. He's not a strong leader. Okay, so now let's talk about the assassination attempt. A really bad day in American history. Just a bad day, period. We didn't want anything like that to happen, really. Seriously. I mean, for a couple of reasons. One, it just makes things worse. Two, we don't need violence. We need ballot box. Yes, we need votes. That's what we need. So what happens? He gets his ear grazed. He didn't take a full-on a bullet to the ear. A bullet grazed his ear, and the ear is highly vascular, so he bled like a stuck pig. Well, if you look at the video after that, he went down, and then the Secret Service picked him up, whereupon he told him, let me do whatever. So he raises his hand and says, fight, fight, fight. Come on, Trump. You're weak. You're a coward. You were really very, very fortunate that you didn't get a direct hit. Because if you would have, you'd be dead. And then things would really be chaotic. Okay? Now, let's pull up a big fact. There are millions and millions of people, Americans, who hate Donald Trump. He's hated. And it's kind of not surprising that an assassination attempt was made. Okay? Now, I'm sure there have been other attempts that were foiled before they were made or abandoned because the security was too great. This time, the security was just lax enough. The venue lended itself to laxing in the security. The kid gets on the roof. He puts out 8 shots. One grazed Trump, one killed a person and then wounded another person. So that's what happened. Very, very horrible action, very horrible event. Now, okay, so the best part is he didn't get killed. The worst part is he got shot. Another worst part is that he tried to make himself a martyr out of it. Well, it's not working. You know what? There's millions that hate him that might have, I'm not saying I do or anybody else does, but they might have wanted him dead. Yeah, they might have been disappointed that he wasn't killed. I'm not. I just really wish the whole thing wouldn't have happened. That's where I'm at. So now Trump's got to reframe everything so he can pound on Kamala. Well, okay, so she had a lot of trouble with staffers and fired them. Well, you know what? If you want to compare that to Trump, look at how many people he had in his administration that he fired. So, in a sense, kind of a moot point. And who knows why Kamala did that? I haven't read any data saying why Kamala got rid of those people. Okay, so there's that. There's also the fact that the right wing and their press are trying to claim that Kamala was not aware of what's going on at the border, one, and that she was the border czar. Wrong, she wasn't. Biden did tell her to get a handle on it and to look in the triangle countries, Honduras, El Salvador, those countries in Central America where a lot of the immigrants are coming from, and do what she could to convince them not to come here. Those people are going to come here as long as there's gangs down there doing violence on them. Those people are going to come here so long as their governments are highly repressive. And actually, some of those governments have actually killed citizens because they were in an opposing political view. Sound like Trump? Yeah. So then the border slows down because of the pandemic, right? Okay. So Biden gets elected. The pandemic seems to be easing up. The immigrants think, hey, I can probably get in now. Well, Trump's claiming 10 million have gotten in. I don't know about that number. I think I would dispute that number. Because if you look at it, they only let a certain percentage in. And of course, there's the ones that weren't caught. Uh, there was a lot of those that weren't caught. At any rate, they got in. Here's the thing. Okay, so you want to get all upset. Well, countries are not emptying their insane asylums. They're not emptying their prisons. They're not sending the people, the undesirables here. People that are coming here want a better way of life, and they want to get away from the oppression that they've been suffering. I don't care if that's in Africa, if it's in Asia. I don't care, South America, Central America. It doesn't matter. But let's face it, the majority of people that are coming here are people that want a better way of life. Now, if that border bill would have passed, we would have had hundreds of new immigration judges. And what would they do? Well, they get people green cards, they get people vetted in, and that way these people can start being charged Social Security, come out of their checks that they get for working, and also Medicare. And what does that do? That helps our two systems. That helps our Medicare system and our Social Security system. It bolsters it. Okay, so a lot of these folks, they're going to make enough money. If things get better back home, they're going to go back home. A lot of them are going to send money back home and try to get other people up here or improve their life, their lifestyle. Okay, those are the things that are going to happen. If these people contribute to the economy and do jobs that Americans have not wanted to do, then they're adding. As long as they're paid a minimum wage, which reflects what the minimum wage is wherever they're being employed, that's fine. But hiring them at less than minimum wage, uh, you know, um, doing them under the table. Now, look, there's heavy fines if an employer gets caught doing that. However, who's going to enforce it? I don't think ICE is going to enforce it. ICE just wants to round people up and incarcerate them and deport them. That's what ICE wants to do. However, if we had the judges, these employers could be litigated for this. They could get in big trouble for this shit. This stuff needs to go away. Okay? And these people actually will help our economy, they'll help our country. It doesn't matter where they're from or what ethnicity they are, what race they are, whatever, what religion. That doesn't matter. What matters is that they get some kind of legal status so they can work and they can contribute to our general economy, which they do. They contribute like over $1 billion here in Arizona alone. And we've been dealing with this for years and years. These folks have been coming up here for years. When I was a kid, they used to come up here to work. Nobody gave me any shit. There was no big, they were illegal. And a lot of them worked, they got paid, and they sent their money home, most of their money. The other money they had, they spent to live while they were here. That's what's going on. Okay, that's what has been going on. A lot of those folks sent enough money home to build a very good life where they were from. In those days, it was mostly Mexico. And so they would go home and then they had a nice home to go back to. Their family was well cared for because they got to work here and send money home and also contribute to our local economy while they were here. So they're really not a problem. What the problem is that people are all excited and they've been fear-mongered into believing this crap that Trump and his sycophants spew. And it's all bullshit, pretty much. Most of the crime that's being done is done by citizens. It's done by people who are already here and not illegal immigrants. They're really careful about that because if they get caught, they get deported right away or they get thrown in prison if it's a serious felony crime. So they don't want to do that. They don't want to get caught. They want to work. They want to make money. They want to be here without any hassle. They want to be able to send money home to their families. That's why most of them are here, by far. And so this whole stupid thing about open border, the border's not open. The border hasn't been open. Yes, people have come across the border. Here's the thing. When you build this wall, what do? They tunnel under it. And there's hundreds of tunnels under that damn wall. So I don't want to hear this crap about the wall stops people. Yeah, it stops a small percentage, but it doesn't stop most of them. So this immigration problem is what people think about it and what people have been led to believe. That's the biggest problem. Otherwise, We have a huge group of people that will work, and if they can be given legal status to do so, they'll contribute to our economy. And they'll also help our programs like Social Security and Medicare. So all this other shit is totally absurd. It's completely absurd. And you bastards that that buy into this crap, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. I've been watching immigrants for years. In my neighborhood, we have a Home Depot, and you can see who's out there every day looking for work. These people are looking for work. Of course, they want to get paid under the table, which is illegal. They're out there looking for work. People do come by, pick them up, and take them to do tasks wherever, and they get paid. Now, where does that money go? Some of it goes home, and a lot of it goes into the local economy. So even that's not so bad. What's bad is they don't get legal status to work here when they ought to. Now, moving away from that, there's all this crap about taxes. Okay, so Democrats want to ease the tax burden on the middle class. Well, Trump is saying shit about that. But let me tell you this, he's going to have a GOP majority in the House and a GOP majority in the Senate to cause stuff like that to happen. This shit's not going to get passed without that. And let me tell you this, people are down on Congress. That's a 17% approval rating for Congress. 17%. Now, this is polling. This is not really, I don't think, completely reflective. I don't think sample size is big enough. But people are very, very much down on Congress. Why? Because they don't get things done. Who hasn't got things done? Now, the last Congress, which was a Democratic Party run Congress, did get a lot of stuff done. They got a lot of great bills passed. They got the Inflation Reduction Act passed. They got the CHIPS Act passed. They got all these different acts passed, okay? And these acts helped us. They helped the American people, okay? And because of that, Biden was able to reduce the deficit and the debt. Not significantly. He racked up another $4 trillion in debt on top of the $8 trillion that Trump already put in there. So yeah, so middle class tax relief would be great. Of course, Trump's going to say that. He wants middle class votes. Can he do it? He's not going to do it with Democrats running the House and the Senate, and they're going to. The Democrats are going to stay in the Senate, and they're going to increase. They're going to have a vast majority, I predict, in the House. Now, Democrats got to get out there, and they got to start pounding the streets a lot more because the election's in 90 days. So they got to get out there. They got to pound the streets. Now, I am going to vote for them. A lot of other people, I'm not really a Democrat either, but I'm going to vote for them because they'll get some shit done. These Republicans aren't going to do anything. They haven't passed anything of any value for the American people on this go-round. So please, folks, if you hear this and you're thinking you're going to vote Republican, don't. They're not going to do anything to help you if you're middle class or even upper middle class. They're not going to do a damn thing to help you. Whereas Democratic Party, they get in, they have majorities, House and Senate. You elect Kamala, a lot of shit's going to get done. A lot of good stuff that's going to help most of us. So, what I say is, folks, let's go ahead. Let's stop this threat.